So far, the crew has cleared every hurdle naysayers have placed in their way. Columbus would be home to one of the 10 inaugural teams. Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans. Well, it's
Hello and welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is the Upper 90 Club, a roundtable podcast where friends discuss the Columbus Crew. On this episode, we review last Saturday's 2-1 tub thump in Chicago. We talk Messi via Twitter question. We discuss the new signing in Yevon Cheburko. We get the Crew 2 update from Bird, and we make our predictions for our game against New York City FC. Played at Yankee Stadium this weekend. MLS's only pitch with a smaller surface area than Don Mattingly's mustache. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Upper 90 Club Pod, and watch us on YouTube at Upper 90 Club. I'm recording this intro after the episode was recorded. Unfortunately, I had a personal conflict on recording night, so I missed the episode. So I'll be handing it over here shortly. I did not have a personal conflict on Saturday night when the Crew came to Chicago, where I live, and I went down to the game and saw everything play out in person. I haven't gotten to see a lot of Crew games in person of late, so lots of familiar emotions came rushing back to me. In fact, I think the last time I saw the Crew play live was when they were here last year, and that was Cucho's first match, and the Crew had a come from behind win. We won 3-2. I think it was 2-1 when he came on, and the rest is history. Hawes was here with me when we saw that game, and on the way out, surrounded by Fire fans, we played Frank Sinatra's My Kind of Town. Chicago is. And it was great. It was great. And I got to redux that this year. We did get held back. So I saw Ty Phillips, who we've had on the show before. He is the Crew's manager of supporter relations. Got to meet him in person, which is great. Hey, Ty. And so anyway, they kept everybody back because I guess there was some violence post-game issues last year because the Chicago fans can't take it. So we all kind of hung out for a little bit. And then when I was playing and singing Frank Sinatra, as I'm wont to do on the way out of this year's thumping, it was just Crew fans. We looked around, it was just Crew fans. So that was great. And then just quick comment on the Zelarayan goal at the end of the game. He connected with that ball, and I was shouting things that, you could only shout in the heat of a moment of passion in a football match, like Zelarayan, you beautiful baby. How do you like them apples? Things like that. So anyway, was there anything else I was going to say? Oh, without me in the club this week are Ben, Trey, Hawes, and celebrity Crew fan Morgan Hughes. I don't think I was going to say anything else. I'm sure I totally said all the things you knew I was going to say. So, Ben, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Himmel. You totally said all the things we knew you were going to say. That's great. So we have a very important special guest today. Now, we are without Morton, and a lot of people, when I put up Hughes online, wanted, what's it? What's the Hughes? Keegan Hughes. So we combined Morton Keegan, and we got a Morgan Hughes.
Oh my God. Yeah. What a treat it is to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Thanks for being a really tall center back that we totally need.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we jump into the game, I kind of wanted to plug some of the things that you're involved in. For all the people who don't know, you were very instrumental in the Save the Crew movement. And I genuinely, we've all met you over the past decade and stuff like that, but we haven't formally met. But we wanted to say thank you for all the work you've done in the Save the Crew movement, and kind of being the mouthpiece for anti pre-court stuff, because that guy sucks. But thanks, man.
It was that was the going on the record and talking poorly about Anthony Precourt was just such a joyful, easy thing to do. So I would say you're welcome, but believe me, like the joy was all on this side of the podcast.
I mean, it was like a softball. That guy's the worst.
I mean,
it's crazy.
That was one of the things about Save the Crew was like, it was so obviously the good guys were on one side, the bad guys were on the other. And it was like, you know what I mean? Like there was no nuance. It was just like, that guy sucks. He's one of the worst people in the world. We're just a community that doesn't want to die.
Yeah. And we've been around since at the very beginning, we were the first actual official team. I was actually at the first game. I have like the ticket mounted and stuff like that. We've been fans for a long time, and it's just, it's bonkers that even happened. But again, thank you. Also, you also co-run Supporter Supply, which is like half my back wall. It's like, I got to Save the Crew, and then the 90s kit was just like immediate. Yeah,
Supporter Supply is myself and Kevin Glenn and Shrikant Meka and Mike Kuhn. There are four of us that co-own Supporter Supply. I sincerely doubt that anybody in the Crew universe doesn't know who we are, but in case you don't, we're a local apparel company, and we live by the ethos of make cool stuff. When in doubt, make cool stuff, and we're trying to have a business that can be sustainable and profitable and still support the causes that we care about and make cool stuff for the people that we love. And it's been a journey, and it hasn't been easy. But I think that we're turning a corner towards an ethos or an existence. So, there have been moments where I feel like we've flown too close to the sun. You know how startups work, where if you make a really big move monetarily or invest your time and energy into something and it doesn't work, that could be it. But we're still here, and we would love if people patronized us. And if anybody has any ideas, please feel free to run them by us. And Kevin will make any t-shirt that you want. And I'll be very upset about all of those t-shirts.
I mean,
because they won't sell, because none of those ideas are good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, we were talking off air about this, but literally my wife checked her bank account and she's like, you have this reoccurring payment to Supporter Supply on the credit card. It says reoccurring payment. I'm like, they keep coming out with awesome stuff. Actually, you don't understand. I was like, their shirts are so complex. You snake.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, the latest releases with the basketball jerseys, which you have on right now, are absolute bangers. I bought the black and gold and the white one, not even thinking about it. I was like, yep, gotta have it.
Dude,
you bought both of them?
they're the most comfortable. Listen, man, I'm a basketball enthusiast, including basketball jerseys. And we had to get the fit and the style of this jersey right. And I feel like we nailed it. And I'll be honest in saying that we have some misses, there's a whole hey ya, thing that we've done. That t-shirt did not sell.
Did they start a chant for that? I saw that online and they were like, yeah, they tried to do a chant. I was like, I don't think.
Probably not going to work.
Yeah, probably not.
I stopped caring about chants 12 years ago, man.
Yeah.
So I don't really participate in them.
Cappy kits were nice though.
Yeah. The Cappy kits are God. The Pride kits that just came out are the most comfortable thing we've ever done.
Those are sweet.
Tomorrow, or maybe I guess if you're listening on your iPhones, it's Tuesday and it's today. We're coming out with a new USA jersey. It's sweet.
Yeah. I think we'll probably drop this Wednesday because I don't have a lot of free time.
Wednesday, of course. If I say Tuesday, I meant Wednesday.
Yeah. What is time?
But yeah, supportersupply.co. Feel free to check us out and go Crew.
Yeah.
And use the Upper 90 Boys with a Z code for free shipping.
With the Z. Don't forget that Z, fellas.
Yeah, not going to get free shipping without that Z. All right. Well, again, thanks for coming on such short notice. I emailed him today and he was totally all on it. I just really appreciate it. Last plug.
There isn't a crappy Crew podcast that I won't participate in.
Yes. Thank you. I've been saying that. Yeah, I'm like, he's got to come on. I mean, we have no one that listens. Yeah. My dad is the only person, and it's on YouTube only. So you'll figure it out.
I feel comfortable. It feels like Aces Radio. I know no one's going to listen to it. I can't make a fool out of it.
Hey, we listen to Aces Radio, and it's hilarious. And I totally get it. And I agree with everybody online. The monthly thing it's a little too long. I mean, we do it every week, and
Dude,
it
it's
should be
so much better.
Oh, I'm sure.
I remember when I stopped doing it, like, I don't know, 4 years ago, we had been doing it every week for years. And I was like, I can't continue this. It's too much work.
100%.
Because we put on like a show.
Yeah.
Like, like we did it at Endeavor, like people would come, like we had to like set up props, and it was, I was like, I can't continue this. It's too much work for literally no compensation.
Nothing. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, what if we just do like a show a couple times a year? And Darby and John and Alex are like, yeah, okay. And I was like, oh no, actually this is fun now.
Yeah.
We should start.
It's
again.
like way less pressure, like absolutely no pressure.
So much less pressure.
Joke's on you though, because what you do is you do what we do and don't have any friends except for us. And then it's like our one night out where we like hang out with friends, like via Zoom, and it's just
100%.
Like, we're just like, hey, every week, cool. Because I mean, on the weekends,
when I was on Massive Report like 10 years ago, that was like, I always said, we're not doing a podcast. You guys are just eating whatever you want for dinner, and your wives can't tell you no.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the whole premise, is everyone would show up to Hen Docs and just start just cramming Chinese food in their mouth. And I'm like, are we ever going to talk about the crew, or are you guys just going to eat bad food?
Yeah. Well, we already had bad food, so we can hop right into the crew. All right. So, all right, man, let's do it. Chicago. Haj, you want to hit us with the lineup? What are we missing here? What's going on?
Yeah, so it was a little bit different this time around due to injuries. I was going to say we had Cucho up top, but really we had three people up top rotating. Cucho, Zelarayan, and Ramirez up top. All three rotating, playing all three positions essentially. Then Yeboah, Morris, Nagbe, and Farsi. Amundsen starting as the left center back, Moreira in the middle, and Zawadzki at right center back with Schulte in goal.
Cool.
Good to have Farsi back. Missed last week, and is this Zawadzki's first start as a center back?
He started last.
He started last game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no surprises, right? The back three is interesting. I mean, we're sticking with what's working, which I don't really mind. Having Farsi back was great, but I kind of liked Arston out there. I kind of liked him being a left-footed right winger that gets up and down and like cuts in.
Yeah, but I think if Farsi's healthy, it's always going to be a Farsi.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, at this point, I think Nancy's going to stay with him until he needs to make a switch for some reason. But yeah, I mean, the beginning of this game was, I don't know, back and forth. Like Amundsen picked up the yellow,
like super early on.
Yeah,
gross. And was that legit? I feel like that was like kind of because I texted you guys on the thread. I'm like, that was kind of ridiculous.
Oh, he raked him from like the middle of the back of the knee down to his ankle. Like it was border. I mean, like letter of the law, that might be a red.
It could have.
That they checked, didn't they? They checked right after that. They're like, we're checking to see if that's a red. And I was like, oh god. Yeah, losing another quote unquote center back that's not a center back would have just been like, all right, put Cucho in left fullback. Like, let's just have fun. Okay, cool, good game. Yeah, I thought the beginning was not great. I just felt like we weren't up for it. I mean, it's hard to play in front of like 7 fans. I get that, but it just seemed like, and Mark was there because Mark's from Chicago, the guy that
lives in
runs
Chicago.
our pod. Yeah, so. It seemed kind of back and forth. It wasn't great. I wasn't like terribly stoked.
Neither team had much going on in the first half, it felt like.
Yeah.
Chicago had a couple chances. We had a few late in the first half. I feel like
in general,
a lot of Chicago's chances, they ended up calling offside. So like watching it was really stressful because it felt like they had a good effort and Schulte made a save or two, and then it would get called back for offside. I think that happened at least 3 times in the game.
Yeah.
I did have a moment early when Kai put that kind of half volley up over the top of the bar. I was like, yep, here comes the Kai Kamara goal.
Yeah.
Here's what we all feared.
And the fact that he got that shot off was silly. Like that volley in the air that he turned on. My God.
Yeah.
Popped
like
it up
he's 100 years old. He's still doing that. Like he's going to be good forever. Like he's never going to, he will only retire when he feels like, I don't want to do this every day anymore. Practice kind
No,
of sucks.
he's going to retire when he has played for every team in the league.
Dude,
like as soon as he's played for every team, he's like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
He is
like,
the MLS Zlatan. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's a Lord of the Rings.
Just going to keep playing.
Like, he's never going to die.
That's why Garber keeps expanding to different teams, so Kai will never leave.
He's just really good friends with Kai.
Yeah.
He's like, don't leave. You got to play for this team, San Diego.
Yeah.
You play for Chicago yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that being said, yeah, the backline offsides thing there, it's interesting because there's two things about that. One is Schulte was making really good saves, even though they were offside.
Yeah, Schulte was.
Like one-on-one, he's getting better and better at being like a shot stopping. It's making me.
Did he also make that save on Kai? The diving save to his left?
Yep.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was good.
Well, and then
Yeah, I mean,
Schulte had a really good game.
and by the 27th minute, we had Zawadzki pick up his yellow. So 2 of our 3 center backs had yellow cards by the 27th minute.
Yeah. I mean, that's typically by design the way we play, but boy.
That one was a I don't know. He went in, took him out. It is what it is.
It wasn't a counter. I don't know. I thought that one was soft.
It was enough for them to call it, but whatever.
I mean, I tell you what, he played pretty great. He has been playing really great as a.
I like the fact that he actually went in and made the tackle and committed to it versus the other previous defender who just kind of sat back and ran in the other way.
Yeah, and the fact that he's able to play with his feet, I think, is kind of the underlying theme of the entire back line right now, is that Amundsen plays really well with the ball at his foot, so does Zawadzki, so we don't have the issues that we had with like Quinton or even Biasia at times where they kind of panic. We were able to get out of like the thing. But again, for 2 guys who aren't playing in a back 3, holding that line and allowing them to be offside is a very hard thing to do. So like, cheers to those 3 who were just like thrown into the fire, like, you play this position now, and you play this position. Like, their positioning was very good, even if Chicago's kind of terrible. So, yeah, I mean, first half, not a lot to note. Do you guys just want to like cruise on through anything, Morgan, on the first half that you saw that we were missing?
No, it seemed to me like a game where both teams were kind of like, especially Columbus, was like, you make a mistake. No, you make a mistake. No, you make a mistake. No, we'll both make mistakes. No, everyone will make a mistake. Let's go into that.
But they were consistent, yeah. It was like, we'll give up the ball in the middle. It's like, oh, yeah? We will give a ball in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just like not a whole lot. It just kind of seemed like, it was bizarre. It was to me, it just seemed like they weren't terribly up for it. So we go into half. What was that? 0-0?
0-0. Possession was just about even. I think our first shot on goal might have been the Zelarayan shot at 45+1. So that was kind of weird.
Well, but it was right into the the stomach of the keeper.
Interesting. So Chicago also plays a 3-4-3. So they play the way we play.
And their fans are not happy about it because they played that 4-2-3-1 and they switched to 3-4-3, and it's apparently not. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Chicago's not been good in 15 years. So
no.
Yeah. They keep moving stadiums. They're like, well, maybe we'll go back to Chicago.
How can that team be so bad?
It doesn't make any sense.
Well,
we're going to play NYCFC, and that doesn't make sense. And also the Galaxy doesn't make sense.
Up until this game, they hadn't lost at home. I haven't looked at the numbers of how many of those were draws, but
yeah, it's a Porter. I feel like it's like a Porter thing.
3-0-6 or something like that.
And
I think 3 wins, 6 ties.
Their current coach, Frank Kloppas, he took over like a month ago, so he's had 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses going into this game. So
that's not terrible.
Kind of a weird position to be in. I mean,
Frank Kloppas could lead Chicago to no victories for the rest of the year. He would only be demoted to assistant coach again. And then the next time that somebody gets fired, he will be promoted again. He is like, there's something about him where like, you know how like in Weekend at Bernie's, like Bernie can only move when like the song is being played or whatever. Like Frank Kloppas is a corpse that can only be alive like if he's employed by the Chicago Fire. And he's been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
More power to him.
Who was? Yeah, I mean, he probably has real estate in Chicago.
100%.
Or where? I mean, where were they at before? What was it?
Bridgeview
Stadium. I went to I went to that stadium It was, dude. It was. I mean, you take the L out. So we took it all the way out till it stopped, and then we had to take an Uber to the stadium, and it was just like, it was like Westerville. It was
Bridgeview is
so
great for
weird.
tailgating for away fans. For a home fan, I'm sure
I mean, it wasn't
it.
bad. So you've been there, so you know, like each corner of the stadium had a different like nationality. So like one had like Spanish food, one had like German food with German beer.
Huh.
So each corner of the stadium had a different like food pairing with a beer. I thought that was kind of cool, but I mean, I was just there to watch Tottenham play Chicago, and you know, kind of either way. But let's go ahead and tackle the second half here when we come back. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Sorry, I'm here for business. Discord Echo, it's Discord Echo, it's Discord Echo, it's Discord Echo.
Discord.gg/crew96.
That's discord.gg/crew96. Join today.
And we're back. Again, thank you, Morgan, for being here. Thank you, Haas, for being here. Trey, I can go either way.
Fair enough.
So let's get into the second half. No subs at half, but we came out swinging. Whatever Nancy said in the dressing room, he's like, "All right, cool. Like, we'll go ahead and just let's just play how we used to play."
I hate to like bring things back to basketball all the time, but it's like the only sport that I truly understand. So like I always think like the true way to like judge a coach in their like, I don't know, like you know how like some like I would describe Greg Berhalter when he was with the Crew as like an organizational manager. Like he was so good at building up systems and putting the right people in the right departments. And that isn't to say that he wasn't a good soccer mind. He certainly forgets more on a daily basis than I will ever know. However, like I like to see guys like Wilfred Nancy that are capable of, in basketball, it's coming out of a timeout. Like, what is your inbounds play? Like, you've watched this other team do whatever they're going to do. Now, coming out of halftime, coming out of a timeout, how do you have your guys respond to it? And can you get them to respond? And it was very clear coming out of this first half into the second half, Wilfred Nancy had done something, said something, empowered someone to do something or say something in the locker room that totally, completely changed not just the hashtag vibes, but the performance. And it got us 3 points.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The rest of the game was just like, I feel like he just went in there and was like, guys, it's Chicago. And they're like, oh, that's right. We're playing Chicago. And he's like,
and if that's what it took, like, man, good for him. He figured it out. If I don't care if he was drawing something on a board or if he was just like, hey, guys, stop it or start it or don't do whatever he said. Like, I just continue to be impressed by him.
He seems like a really good player coach. Like he seems to, everybody enjoys playing with him. That's always, that was when he got, so we hopped on here with a Montreal podcast and they were like, yeah, the general consensus is we all loved him because we loved him. And then the players loved playing for him. So that made us love him more. And I'm like, wow. I was like, we haven't really had that in a grip. Like we haven't had it in a while. And it's interesting. He plays with that's that lineup right there, especially with the back three the way they are. They're just like, he's like, hey, have fun, like go out there and I know you can do.
Yeah,
good soccer.
About the last coach that we even would resemble that would be Siggy.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the last person who you could tell that the players wanted to go out there and fight for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Greg,
no,
that's right.
No. Berzija, no.
And that was so short.
Every coach has their guys, but like it didn't feel like. I mean, like Bailey Johnson wrote an article in the Dispatch, a whole article in the Dispatch earlier this year about the players are smiling at practice. Like it was so rare that a beat writer noticed it.
Yeah. Let's go through the first goal. So when was it and how did it happen?
So 59th minute goal credited to Cucho, although it seemed like it maybe could have been called an own goal. I don't. They were talking about it, at least the national broadcast, not the Crew broadcast. And speaking of which, if anyone watches from home when it's a home game, flip that thing over to the local broadcast. So much better.
They're so bad. Jesus.
Amundsen wins the ball in our offensive half, finds Nagby on the left side with him. Nagby turns to find Cucho moving to space in the middle of the field. He takes a touch or two, rips a shot from 30, 35 yards out, and it deflects off Navarro and goes to the right of the net while their goalie, Richie, is moving to the left, which makes 8 straight matches with a goal contribution for Cucho. setting the team record, I believe, tying or setting the team record.
I think it tied the team record.
Nonetheless,
Is it, or did he? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
It's him,
Tied.
Jeff Cunningham, and Lucas. Now they all have done it and had done that in 8 straight games. So when he scores or assists in Yankee Stadium on Saturday, he will own it.
Yeah, when he hits that ground rule double in Yankee Stadium. It could have been credited. I think it's if you strike it and it deflects, or if it's like a cross and it goes in, they call it as an own goal. But if it's intended as a shot on goal, like consecutively, if it bounces off somebody, they credit the striker, which should be. I mean, that's part of the gig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, we deserved it. I mean, we were just absolutely hammering them the entire half. I mean, it was just like I said earlier, I texted everybody. I'm like, it's coming. And then once it happened, I was like, awesome, cool.
Goes to the corner, pretty calm celebration, multiple drinks thrown at the whole team in the corner.
Didn't catch it, didn't drink it. I thought that was interesting.
It's because it was already turned over by the time it seemed like it was from a cup.
I think it was mostly ice.
There was a second shot where it was all liquid pouring down on him.
Yeah, it was. It was
maybe
ice
it was champagne.
No, it's Chicago. It's not champagne.
It was Malort.
Well,
freaking yeah,
it was Malort. Freaking. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, I think we continue to play well. I think we continue to dominate. Usually, the Nancy system produces another goal within the first like 10 or 15 minutes after that goal, and it didn't happen. And I was kind of like, all right, well, as the game always creeps on, I always get kind of scared. Like it's that Porter syndrome where I'm just like,
I think a lot of that could be
get one
attributed to the fact of they did 5 subs between the 63rd and the 80th. So there was a lot of changes that were happening. And I think Nancy was doing a good job of adjusting the team and the lineup to accommodate what they were playing against. So I didn't think we were playing bad through that second half up until I'm trying to think. Geez, he scored in like what, the 88th minute?
Yeah.
Shaqiri? Yeah.
I mean, we still owned possession for most of the second half. They had a little bit here and there, but even after the goal, we still had the majority of it while they had a few chances here or there. But again, I feel like the couple that they had were offside, called back. Zawadzki chased down, I can't remember who it was, even though he was offside, and then still made the save to kick it out the end line. And then they called it offside.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, and I actually kind of want to get Morgan's take on this. So we've talked about this before. I'm sure you guys have talked about it on the Aces, but so he makes 2 subs in the 63rd, the other team. Then they make 2 more, and it just seems like we always go up, and then they make tactical changes, and it seems like Nancy always takes a little too much time to make changes. I mean, we only had 2 subs in this game, one in the 80th, one in the 90th, and it seems to be like that's. What's your take on that? Like, how do you feel about? The results kind of stand, but also like I feel like sometimes.
Well, I mean, like how many? Where's the quality on the bench? I guess my question would be like. I guess my response would be if we were a full strength squad and you had guys on the bench that otherwise are starting now. If my son, Sean Zawadzki, was on the bench instead of, having played the last 180 minutes at a position he didn't even, know how to play 2 weeks ago, that is really indicative of like what you have available to you. And I don't know, like as much as I love seeing Crew 2 play, I don't really like. I'm never really like thirsty to see any of them outside of Jason Russell Rowe, on the first team. So I don't know. Like sure. It's one of those things where I don't know. You in coaching when you decide to make an adjustment, whether it's like in game or in personnel or whatever, it's if you do nothing and it works, you look like a genius who stood their ground for the right reasons. If you bring somebody in and they immediately just eat it, you look like an idiot. And I think that Phil Quinton has made Wilfred Nancy say, "I subbed at halftime 2 games ago. I'm never subbing again."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
interesting you bring that up. So like my question, this is kind of for everybody, but we can start with Morgan again. But like, so it's 87th minute or something like that. And Nancy had said earlier, like, hey man, like I just learned this term, what was the term he said? Street smarts.
Street smarts.
Yeah. So it's like the end of the game, and I'm looking at the bench going, all right, man, maybe we just sub in somebody for like, like Ramirez, and then put in Quentin, and then just put him in the back to add an extra body just to finish out the game. Cause some coaches do that. Is that a bad call?
Yes. Because Caleb Porter, that's his only move.
Yeah.
Put in, if we're up a goal, put in 11 center backs. And,
it'd be nice to have 11 center backs. Though,
just like let them ping the ball at you. And, it didn't work. It never worked.
Yeah, we got a lot of ties.
And so, no, anything that Caleb Porter would have done, I think is objectively the wrong call.
Yeah.
Well, like a Seinfeld thing.
To be fair, we really only had one sub in this game. Russell Rowe came in the 90.
It was after our second.
The 96th minute? Like, that doesn't even count. So Matan coming in for Ramirez was really it. And I really think Russell Rowe only came in, A, as a time waste, and then B, to get Lucas off so he didn't get injured or pick up
another
some stupid yellow. Yeah.
Or maybe, all right, so maybe Quentin was is a bad call, but maybe Parente in the middle, clog the middle so they can't do it.
But who is he? Like, what? I don't know. What's that getting you? It just seems like if you're bringing in a body for body's sake, like that's probably not the best move. If you have a guy who really adds to it, like if you're looking at a guy in the bench and you're like, he easily could have started. It was a tough call whether to keep him on the bench or start him.
Yeah,
I could see bringing that dude in the 65th and being like, get out there and play these 30 like you were going to play 90. Like don't leave anything. I want you to be the catalyst for finishing this off. But if you look down at your bench and you're like, yeah, these dudes could start an MLS Next Pro, but there wasn't anybody on that bench where you look at him maybe outside of Matan and go, that guy needs to play today.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Fair. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, I think
fine.
Maybe if you're chasing the game, maybe because you've got guys more offensive in Parente and Arfston and Matan coming in and like maybe provide you a little bit more spark. But I think you got your most solid defensive players, like not defensive players, but offensively talented defensive
we have our
players out there.
Decent,
you have your best players on the field. And the guys coming on are not going to fix that. So unfortunately, that's where we're at until at least July. I mean,
July 5th.
We'll see what this other fella can do.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a second.
Kind of crazy that we're in playoff positioning with all that's happened and the lack of options that we have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I always say like extend grace on this team. Like, extend grace on Nancy, extend grace on some of these guys, especially like, it's been wonderful seeing Amundsen come in and Zawadzki's, not only your son, but also like just an awesome like addition to the team that where he's just kind of a plug and play. It's like, I just picture him sitting down with Nancy being like, listen, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but I need you at right back. And he's like, done. Like, sweet.
Well, and
he's played awesome.
The fact that Amundsen, they got him at the deadline, like last second, and he's filled in great. Played out on the wing and as the left center back. So
yeah, I still was Sands, man. Sands he was doing some things. And I think he was a left center back, or he was a left back also, right? Prior to this, he wasn't like a left winger, like a left back.
Amundsen,
converted. I mean, left wing back is totally his spot. All right, well, talk us through Chicago's goal.
88th minute, the Crew turns the ball over at midfield, trying to get the ball to Lucas. Torres brings the ball forward to find Navarro out on the left, who plays the ball into the box where Shaqiri has found space as Zawadzki loses him a little bit, and Shaqiri first times it with his left foot past Schulte. His first goal of the season. And
wow, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a $10 million goal.
And he was kind of making a run, and then he slowed his run, and Zawadzki kept going a little bit, and Moreira and Amundsen were trying to cover, I can't think of the big guys' names that they had brought in the back, Shabilko and...
Yeah, and that guy's good.
Yeah, and they're big guys.
And Hebers is good too.
Team Tuckett was in there.
That guy.
The-
Who was that guy? Which guy was that?
Koutsias, the Greek guy.
Apparently he's
Yeah.
like 18 or something. 19.
He is?
Yeah, he's young.
Well, yeah, he's a gossip girl. Like, dude, that guy looked miserable.
Sorry, Morgan. I have a big thing against guys that tuck their shirts in.
I'm personally
At least
offended
on
if people
on
do
the
that.
soccer field.
Yeah, Morgan's
Yeah.
he's tucked in his jersey right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Into his
I believe
underwear.
But
The only thing on this goal that I am curious about, and we've seen it a couple of times, when the Crew is trying to defend a cross, and you have three of them, the three center backs are all getting sucked to the goal, and they leave that space in between them and the top of the 18 open for players to run into.
They've scored so many goals
Yes.
in that gap.
Aiden was trying to
I-
get back. He was just
And it's
He
Yeah,
was,
he's
and
behind the
I'm
play.
not putting it on a single person. This is kind of a pattern that we've seen.
Oh, it was my son that vacated that space. That was
don't you talk about yourself like
that
that.
was purely on me and Carol's son, Sean Zawatsky. We raised him better than that.
She's a
I don't know if
beautiful
that's
one.
his
So-
mom's name. I'm just guessing.
It's got to be Carol. How old is he?
it
It's got to be
fits.
Carol. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. I mean, it's just the spacing between the three center backs and our 2 6/8s and the space. That spacing has always been trouble in those counter situations because we push so many guys up, and Nagme is not the quickest. Morris is also not the fastest. So like in that counter situation, if they're out of position, I mean a proper number 10 or number 8 for another team is going to be just as fast as they're going to be able to outrun or at least keep up with them. So
and Morris.
that space has constantly been a trouble
Morris
for
was
us.
up towards half field where he was involved with losing the ball, but the ball was bouncing all over the place. It's not like on him, but that's how it played out.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, first goal of the season for Shaqiri, man, what a flop. Man, that stinks.
How much they spend on him?
Isn't he like the 4th highest
I thought he
paid?
was the second highest paid player in MLS,
Yeah.
It's up there.
behind
Yeah.
Insigne or whatever his name is in Toronto.
Yeah, it's, Toronto. Yeah, maybe don't spend a bunch of money on.
and until our fun short Argentinian friend comes to Miami. This is all
Yeah,
true.
we'll get to that. All right. Well,
Hey, quickly though,
yeah, go ahead.
we turned it around quick and tried to put one in just after stoppage time started. But Cucho was slightly off when he played the ball into Matan, who beat 2 defenders.
Allegedly.
Okay, cool. Because I asked Trey that earlier today, and I meant to look it up, but I got really busy at work. I think when the ball's actually played, he's onside.
Yeah, whatever
I think it
whatever
bounces
the call
off.
it was
Yeah.
not going to get overturned.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
back
problem.
goals.
That is the constant problem with the VAR stuff. It's like, oh, if it's called on the field, it has to be clear and obvious. And I was like, okay, well, it's not clear and obvious, but man, this is the second game in a row where they called Cucho offside, and he wasn't. He was just.
It was very close. As close as some
yeah.
of at least one of theirs also was, but they didn't score on it.
Yeah, and Matan's finish was great. The ball in was great. Like, credit to Nancy for being like, I'm going to put Matan in. You got 10 minutes, and he made an impact immediately. Like, he put the ball in the back of the net, and I was just like, yeah, like that. I thought that was it, and then they called it off, and I was like, man, it's.
I was worried about his knee there laying in the goal in the net.
Yeah, I was like, we can't lose another guy. This is like the 12th person.
Well, and he's already been hurt recently. I don't think it's been his knee, but he was up running good at the end of the game, seemingly.
Yeah. So
Then
towards the end of the
Magic-
game, I was like, okay, 1-1. It just bothers me that we keep dropping points to teams that are less than us. I guess that's like we're not playing super awesome. We're not one of the best teams. We're not Nashville. We're not but I just hate dropping points to like the Red Bulls and like teams that we should not be dropping points to. But I was like, all right, one point on the road, it's fine. And then in comes the goal of the century, which is what everyone on the internet is saying.
90 plus 3. Morris intercepts a pass in Chicago's offensive half. And I wanted to throw this out there. Was it deflected towards Zelarayan, or
Yeah.
was it purposely
No,
played
it was
in that
deflected.
direction? Okay.
No. Yeah, it played off his thigh.
It went perfectly into the path of Zelarayan. right around the center circle as he's running to the ball, trying to beat Chicago to it. You can see him take a quick look up. He spots Richie, Chicago's goalie, out of position and shoots it with his right foot with his first touch up and over the keeper. Goal of the week, in my opinion.
Yeah. Why is it even talked about? Like, I woke up the next day and I opened Twitter and it was just like literally the same thing over and over. You know, granted, I posted the exact same thing that everybody posted, but I was just like, look at the keeper like jump the other way. It was hilarious. The best part was the Spanish call on that.
It was great.
Was one of the, it like gave me chills. I was just like, I just mío. Oh man,
it's stuff that doesn't, you know, like to me, stuff that happens that you see in like, you know, the 10 greatest sports highlights of 2022. Your teams are never in that, you know. They're
right.
Like my teams are never in that. I think about like the 2007 Ohio State Xavier game in the NCAA tournament, where like, you know, like we were down 2. I'm sorry, we were down 1. No. We were down 2. Guy goes to the free throw line with like 2 seconds left. Could ice it with 2 free throws. Misses the second one. It's halfway down. It comes out. No timeouts. Mike Conley brings the ball up, like hits a streaking Ron Lewis, and he hits basically like a shot just pure as the driven snow, like from midway between 3-point arc and midcourt. And it's just like I remember like to send it to overtime, and I'm like, this never happens to my team. Oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. And to like to watch your favorite team with like a generational talent do some magic stuff at half field with the last kick of the game against your historical rival on the road to send their fan base like back into the streets of their crippling poverty city, sad. That just never happens to my team, to your team, to our team. And it happened. And I had to take my pants off and run down Summit Street.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in Black Liquid. I got arrested. But yeah, totally. Yeah.
Second time doing it too.
I can't stop taking my pants off. Yeah, so I don't even think he took a touch, right? Like he let it like play out in front of him, and he didn't take a touch.
It was right before
he just struck it.
It would have been blocked. Like
he immediately started running and like took off his jersey and like turned it around and was like,
just like Messi, he knows.
Oh yeah.
Oh the
I'm assuming
comparisons to Messi was absolutely hilarious. The Argentinian, like, oh, here's your Argentinian.
Yeah, he knows.
I'm assuming it was a total. He was like an appreciative, like shout out to Messi. That's kind of what I took.
Yeah,
from it.
Probably.
Hey,
I'm hoping it wasn't him.
Who cares? It was awesome.
It was awesome.
You know, whatever.
It is pure, unadulterated, like, you know, like uncut, raw filth. Like it was just. God, can you imagine being a Fire fan? 15 years of being garbage. And for that kind of thing, of course, it could only happen against them. You know? Like, that's just, I mean, it's not just doing it, but doing it on the last kick of the game because you're tired. Otherwise, I would have maybe dribbled and attacked. But I was tired. Yeah. So I finished it from 75 yards. Let's go home.
Yeah.
I was at Myrtle Beach with my family in a timeshare, watching on an iPad. In a room secluded because no one else wanted to watch, and none of them other than my wife who was there are around me when I watch crew games and how I react and freak out about things. And I'm pretty sure they were a little concerned when they started hearing the screaming from the other room.
I just started giggling like a little baby. I was like, like I couldn't believe what I saw. I was like, well, that makes sense.
I was doing the Nazi clap and going,
Man, them panning over to him with his arms out.
I love it. He's fantastic.
Man, yeah.
Have you ever seen a dunk contest where like someone will do something so insane that like half of the guys just get up off the bench and like just walk to the locker room, and then they're kind of like brought back and they're like, I can't even be here for this. That's what I did.
I can't believe I saw that with my eyes.
I took my shirt off and walked out of the house.
Yes, I think that has to be the response where it's just like I saw it and I was like, okay, cool.
It's never going to happen again. You will never see that happen again. It will never happen to us.
It was
again.
inside of our own half. Like, bonkers.
The context of it being tie game after just giving up a goal to win the game in stoppage time is what is like the icing on the cake to that.
It's never going to happen again. That's just so insane.
That type of goal is like, I hate to say it, but like a lot of times you see the half-field shots and you're like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but like, okay, how hard is it to kick it from half field?
Hard.
Yeah, it's very really hard.
Had
it's
some
really
swivel
hard
on it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like to the outsider, it just is like, yeah, I mean, he kicked it really far like that. It's like, no. That is insanely hard to do in the middle of a game when the ball just kind of comes to you and you just rip a shot. Like,
had the keeper looking the wrong way.
It was that's
great.
what I posted. I posted the keeper looking like jumping the other way. Like,
I would have loved to just hear that.
I wanted to
deflate.
Oh God, yeah. No, okay. So, end of the game. That was it, and it was just they called it like right after that, and it was just like, before we move on, I want to take a break here in a second. But what Morgan was talking about earlier was the crew posted a video of like after the game. I went behind the stadium and they were walking back to their locker room and Nagby comes up and talks to Zelly and Zelly is like, the only reason why I kicked it is because I was so tired. And he kept saying like, I was so tired. I didn't want to run. So I just kicked it. And it's just Nagby like cracking up and like slapping him on the chest and just like, it's your captain talking to like your other captain essentially of the team. And just
I know
being
that
like,
we've all been away games here on the panel, but like, if there are people listening that haven't been to an away game, here's how it usually works. You lose. MLS is home team FC. You lose away games.
You lose those games.
Right. Yep. Regardless of whether you're good or they're bad, or it doesn't really matter. You almost never leave away games as a traveling fan happy. Or
you get a draw, luckily, and it feels like a win. That best case scenario.
Cincinnati last year, a great example of that. But you usually leave. You usually leave with your head hung. Yeah, thanks for coming. Oh, thanks for having us. To be able to leave an away game having won is so rare, and there's so much. It's a very unique feeling for a sports fan to travel to someone else's place and to beat them in soccer in MLS.
Especially beating them that way.
To do it in that capacity against a team that is like historically your rival.
For the second, you remember all those second year in a row for Chicago too.
Totally. All those years of them coming here and calling it Firehouse East, and just like the history we have with Section 8 or whatever they're called, and I just Section like
Latino.
Section, it just got
Section 8 was right.
Yeah, and just like to do it there. I wasn't there, but I can't I was going
to ask if you were there.
I'm so happy for the 3-1 crew people.
Yes,
because they plan all year for this, man. And there were a few years in a row where it was like Wednesday games, Thursday games. To have a Saturday night game where they get all their sisters and brothers to come in from Columbus and to win in that way, to get to go back to Greystone and drink the night away as victors on this silliest, most absurd smoke in the history of crew soccer.
Oh man,
oof! Line me up a couple shots of Malort's boy. I'm in.
I'm all for it. All right. Well, we are going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and give predictions, talk about the New York Yankees. We're going to talk about our new signing, and we are going to talk about Messi very briefly. Sorry, Way. All right. We'll be right, Trap.
This episode of the Upper 90 Club is brought to you, as always, by Supporter Supply Company. Hi friends, this is your good pal Morgan Hughes, here to talk to you about a serious issue facing 96% of all crew supporters in Columbus. Why, not enough free shipping, of course. For a limited time now, through the eventual heat death of the universe, Upper 90 Club listeners can use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z on the end of it, at checkout for free delivery on absolutely any order over $10. But Morgan, what if I order $10 worth of stickers, or those goddamned buttons, or some other combination of small items that make you want to kill yourself? Will the free shipping still apply then, even as you curse our family, while you package up our little tiny annoying ass order for us? Of course it will. That's just how much we here at Supporter Supply value our friends at the Upper 90 Club. So head on over to supportersupply.co and use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z at checkout for free shipping on all your orders over $10. And don't forget to tell him that your friends at the Upper 90 Club sent ya.
And we're back. Before we move on to the New York Yankees, Haas won't be quiet about touching on the match day stuff. So, Haas, why don't you tell us who made the match day team and who was snubbed?
Just a quick mention, bench of the match day, Aiden Morris and Cucho were named to it, and Zelarayan got no mentions, even after his heroics.
He did get goal of the match day, and when I voted
Did
on
he win
Twitter, he was like 67% to like 12 was the other highest. So he probably won it.
From what I understand, this actual match day, there was a lot of
there were
really
some good
solid
goals.
Performances, especially in
really
that number 10 that's like the striker and like midfield like area. So.
Loved seeing Houston dominate LAFC.
Yeah, that was shocking.
What was that, 4-0?
Yeah, Ache also had a great game from what I understand. So let's get into... All right, so Wei gave us a shout, and he wanted us to talk, and we're going to talk quickly about this because I don't want to spend too much time on it, is the Messi coming to the MLS. Now,
coming to America.
Yeah, so he declined Barcelona. Fair play to him for not going to Oil Town, wherever Europe.
Yeah.
He is coming. It was a clause in his contract. He's coming to Miami. Sure. What does everybody think about, Messi coming to the MLS? The problem, I think, I kind of want to say this before we start talking about this, is that it's a single entity. So every team and every player is kind of paying into Messi coming to the MLS. So that kind of puts a spin on things. So it's not just Beckham dropping, $250 million on him coming. It is like the league deciding it's okay for him to come. So who wants to talk about the GOAT? Okay, cool. That was cool.
Every time one of these guys come, it's just like, okay, I don't, like I remember when Beckham came and it was like, okay,
so my tickets got more expensive.
Thierry Henry was here, okay. My favorite guy that ever came over here that was supposed to be a big deal, because honestly, like it's very infrequent when one of them, who is like, all of my Eurosnob friends will be like, this one's different. You don't understand Shaqiri. You don't understand Chicharito. I'm like, well, it's not like I.
No.
Okay, maybe I don't, but like when Andrea Pirlo came here, when he went to NYCFC, and one of my friends was like, you don't understand. He's the maestro. He's the maestro. As if like using a word in a different language was going to make me be like, oh, well, excuse me. That man was a corpse. I won't make a second Weekend at Bernie's joke in 2 segments, but like, just know that I wanted to. There was a game at NYCFC where Higuain scored on a corner, but he wasn't taking the corner. He was just being marked by Andrea Pirlo, a corpse standing there. And Higuain put a header into the back of the net. That's how terrible this guy was.
The one header he ever saw.
Messi is like... Listen, man, I don't know enough about soccer to diagnose who's the best, who's the worst, and who's in between, other than Justin Merrim. That guy's garbage.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. I listened to you guys talk last week about your last episode about we don't boo Justin Merrim. I've never disagreed harder with anything in my life.
Turned it off.
But about Messi, like Messi is going to bring in a bunch of people that otherwise wouldn't be paying attention. Or
100%.
Maybe they pay attention, but they just, I don't know. It's going to bring in people that otherwise wouldn't be there. It's going to be on the front offices around the league to take those people who are willing to pay $700 to watch this guy play one game and convince him to pay $750 for a whole season of tickets where he isn't playing.
Yeah.
That's it. They talked about MLS on NPR the other day for the first time since Save the Crew. And I was like, wow, it went Save the Crew, 6 years of no mentions, and then Inter Miami.
I saw a Fox News
company.
I saw a Fox News clip where the guy was like, well, he better learn English. It was so funny.
And you need to stop listening to Fox News.
It was a Twitter clip. Jesus.
Was it though? Don't you get... I mean, there is something to it where, you know, Miami had 1 million followers on Instagram and they went up to like 7 million. I mean, 6 million people is a lot.
That's
and a lot of
significant.
eyes on MLS is awesome. And I do think he is different than like a Pirlo or a Beckham or a Zlatan even though I genuinely think when Zlatan came into the league, he did have a bit of an impact. Like he played really well. His first game, he scored that goal from, you know, he had the game winner. Like he's a good player.
Yeah.
I do think it's very interesting that Messi has predominantly played in leagues that aren't, you know, like Germany's physical and England is physical, and the MLS is also kind of a physical league. He played for, you know, Barcelona and PSG in leagues that aren't, they don't really, that's not like, I just don't know if we're going to see him do Messi things in this league.
He won't. It never works like that. People always say they're going to come over here, they're going to score 50 goals, and they never do. And I'm not saying that Messi isn't great. I've watched him play enough to know that he's very, very good at soccer. He might even be the best soccer player ever lived. He's not going to come here and score 50 goals. The Columbus Crew are going to be fine. I would rather have our 10 than their 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It just makes me look forward to watching Morris and Nagby and Farsi and whoever stop him. Like,
you're going to be able to watch so many Messi fanboys at the LDC leave just heartbroken next season.
Wearing Barcelona jerseys.
When Zelly has a goal.
Can't even buy the Miami jersey.
Always the best. It's always the best. Like when Schweinsteiger played for Chicago or something, you know. And, dude, I mean, like, it's to be a fanboy of that guy is like, and there were still fanboys for that guy, and there were just a bunch of like white kids from the suburbs just leaving heartbroken. That, my friends, is what you really want to hook your IV to, regardless of whether or not we win the game or whatever, how badly we beat them, how Messi plays, whether or not Zelarayan shows him up. Do yourself a favor, leave a little bit before Wiseman, and just post up on one of the beams and just watch all the little fanboys leave. Get your IV bag out and get as much of that in there as you can, and then you can just take a hit of it whenever you want for the next couple of years. That's what it's really all about.
Yeah, you're still on that Schweinsteiger juice. You keep bringing over this Schweinsteiger juice. I'm like, what is that, red wine?
That's right.
No, I think it's overall, I mean, Messi coming into the league it's a positive for the league, sure. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not going to be competitive. He might win a couple extra games. If they happen to get into the playoffs, considering that they're in last place right now.
Yeah, 100%. Not going to happen.
You know, it's going to, the ancillary stuff of like, it's going to raise ticket prices and for away games that like, sure. Okay. Honestly, it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. And if I would happen to get to watch him play, I'd be happy, but I don't really care. I don't care if I get to. It doesn't matter. It's not changing the league. It's not winning the game.
What games is he going to show up to? What ones is he not going to show up to?
I'd be surprised if he traveled outside of Miami.
Oh, the posting ability for us is just going to be off the charts, man. Like, it's like the ability to just post on social media about beating Messi and how he couldn't handle the bright lights of Columbus. It's really just a once in a generation type of like posting opportunity. And
100%.
Exactly. If you don't care about seeing Messi play, you could almost pay for your entire season ticket by just selling that. You know what I mean? Just one ticket. If you don't care about it, watch it at home. Yep. Listen to Chris Doran, the silk smoothie voice he has on Apple TV Plus. Get that money.
I think ultimately the bottom line for this is it draws international spotlight to the MLS prior to the 2026 World Cup in the United States. Like it's just a ploy by Don Garber to to kind of draw a spotlight to us, which you know, fair play. Cool. Sweet.
Have to.
All right.
You have to if you're Don Garber.
Yeah, 100%. It's a no-brainer.
If he had the opportunity to bring Messi in and he didn't, he'd get fired and he'd deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more important thing is we have a left-footed left center back from Ukraine. Cherburko, 25 years old, left-footed left center back. I don't think he can play until July 5th. Is that right? Like so he plays for the Croatian league. and their season is over. So he's on his way over. I think his physical is all done. I think he's ready to go, but he's not going to be able to play until July 5th. Has anybody done any research or talk? You know, I saw the signing and it was kind of bizarre because it wasn't Messi. You know, it wasn't somebody that I knew. I don't follow the Croatian league. It sounds like none of us do.
A few weeks ago, we like put our like hopes of like what we would sign out there, and this was definitely not what any of us said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we didn't say a whole lot, to be fair, but 25-year-old, 6 foot, left-footed center back. That's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
To me, it is indicative of like it. I looked at the facts, like where he's from, how old he is, where, you know, it's a non-top 5 league in Europe. He's a fringe national team player. He's 25 years old. He's under 25 years old. The transfer fee was allegedly under $1 million. This is like, if that kind of signing hits, it's why you have a scouting department. That's huge.
100%.
Like if that guy ends up playing for us for 5 years and actually making a difference, like whoever put that scout out there, whoever is his boss needs to get promoted. Like that's the kind of thing that takes you from a fringe playoff team to competing for trophies. And if it hits, that's a big if. Especially how long it takes defenders traditionally to, you know, to get into MLS and feel comfortable. But if it hits, like that's a huge signing, and it makes me feel better than I do right now about, because let's be honest, man, under Bez's leadership, he's a wizard in some scenarios, like that Amundsen signing. The entire league knew we needed a left back, and we got the starting left back for MLS Cup champions 2 years ago for basically pretend money.
Yeah.
That's great. That's objectively good.
Yeah.
Yes, but other than Cucho and Lucas, and I guess you would say Darlington, even though he just kind of wanted to come to Ohio and it didn't matter
Akron.
where, you know,
right.
like Bez
That's
has
a
kind of
thing.
missed on more than he's hit.
Yeah.
So if this guy hits, I feel better than I would before.
Yeah. I think in general, the Crew, when it comes to defensive internationals, we have struggled to have like solid signings. Like we keep missing, they keep getting injured. They're out for a long time. It's kind of where we're at right now. You know, we have Moreira in the center, like Degenek.
Yeah, but
Degenek was a decent.
Degenek's
hit.
been okay, but I mean, it's been since Giancarlo that we've really had one that's hit.
Yeah,
and he didn't even play for us that long. We just got lucky that he went to the World Cup
and played well.
And we sold him on.
Yeah, and got sold. Yeah,
same thing with Degenek.
But we're playing 2 center backs out of position. I feel like it's got to be easy to step in and play better than people that have never played center back ever before.
100%.
I'm
a very low bar.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like he like shows up to practice and Amundsen just comes up and he's like, "Thank you so much," and just hugs him. He's like, "Thank you. I just want to play like left wing back again. Like this is ridiculous."
I will say I think that we get too excited as a fan base over white Europeans. Because it's like, like what's his name? I mean, Kristen Steinderson is a prime example of this. You know, like
was he Norwegian?
Wherever he was from,
Scandinavia,
someplace where it's cold all the time.
Time.
I just feel like we always get really excited when we're bringing in some white guy from Europe.
It's like 2009.
Yeah. Good looking guy.
Yeah,
great looking guy.
Ben and I have like major crush.
Now we also had. I'm drawing a blank on the last guy that he got hurt. He had the concussion or whatever, and then he was out with like a knee injury for a long time.
Oh yeah, the center back, the guy with the crazy hair, the Viking looking dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wasn't talking about him, but also him.
No, you were talking about the Argentinian.
Sorrow. Who's the guy who looked?
Remember Glauber, another one of those guys. Like you know,
I'm telling you what, like our center back have just miss under multiple.
And this is honestly a few weeks ago. This is why I wanted us to go hard in on like a big European signing. Like
like Chiellini.
Well,
no.
I don't think this is the last center back getting signed.
Oh, 100% no.
I hope not.
It's also a really bizarre time to like say, hey, we have a signing.
It's done before the window's even open. I love it. Like that's what I like most about this, I think, is they already have a center back lined up before the window's even open, so he can start day one potentially.
And they
Potentially.
announce it, which is
Hey.
bizarre because they don't. There's no
Wait
reason
and
for them
see.
to, like-
I'm hopeful,
Yeah.
but I've seen this play before.
If Bez
We'll
is
see.
a true genius, like we all think he is, he'll be making calls to Miami and to RSL, teams that just signed a very expensive designated player that maybe need an international roster spot or cap
Right.
space or something, and go, hey, that's a really nice center back you got there. How do you feel about a young project named Philip Quinton? How about like for like trade?
Keegan Hughes.
Keegan Hughes.
All right, so let's take another break, and when we get back, let's talk about another break. Yeah, we've been going long, going way long. When we come back, we'll talk about
Score
the
predictions.
New York Yankees. Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. I'll be right back.
Hey, it's Morton. Can you hear that? Can you hear the sound of the wind, the waves, the screaming kids that are trying to stay alive on the beach, the sizzling from the skin burning in a 90-degree sun? Well, I can. And it's slightly ironic while I'm basking in the sun and the glory from that tremendous game here on Saturday, that while I'm in the Sunshine State, where the discussion has all been about the little Argentinian magician coming into the league, that the real star of the week was an Argentinian now residing in Columbus. Of course, I'm also basking in the glory of my 2-1 pick. I'm sorry, Haas, it's been nice to hang out in the basement drinking low-shelf bourbon, but I'm going to have to drink my Blantons and start rubbing elbows with the big boys further up the standings. So before discussing the upcoming games against New York City FC, let's look at predictions from last week. So everyone had a W, so we were all guaranteed a point, but that glorious goal from Del Rayan gave me the 2-1 predictions and the 3 points, my first. And I didn't think that was coming. This means Mars is still at the top with the new Upper 90 Club season best ever points total of 11 points. A new record. Congrats, Mars. Keep it going. He's still followed by Ben holding on at 9 points. I am moved up to third place with my equal points, Trey. And Haas is just trying, being the good guy, trying to make everybody else look good. Just right behind with 6 points. Now looking forward to this game coming up against New York City FC, which is strange. We're playing actually 3:30 game. Who knew? Who knew that we can play in the afternoon at any different time than, 7:30? Even if it's Central Time or East Coast time, it's 7:30. But no, 3:30. New York City, they're just 1 point ahead of Chicago, third from the bottom in the East. They don't score many goals and have only collected 3 points in the last 5 games. The points coming from ties, and they have only scored 3 goals in those 5 games. They lost the last 2 games at their ridiculous home, and the team playing in the baseball diamond, they're in a bit of a shambles. So, Mark, get the guys' predictions, but I stick with my crew and the 2 DPs that are on fire up front. Maybe the most lethal duo in the league. I mean, who needs Messi? I say 3-1 crew, a massive win, and we're moving up the table. See you guys soon, and go crew.
And we're back, and it was a really short break, and we're ready to go. All right, let's talk about the New York Yankees coming up on Saturday. Okay, so interesting game. So it starts at 3:30, which is awesome because it's not during the time where I put my children down, so that's pretty great. I believe Haas will not be able to watch it because he's in a disc golf tournament because he doesn't have kids.
Oh, disc golf.
Yeah.
Huh?
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Love
Yeah.
that.
I used to have tournament time. So,
And
all right.
third kid.
So we're going to head straight into predictions. So, all right. 3:30, middle of the day, New York. Hot take is that we will not have Zelly. He got called into the Armenian national team.
Yeah.
So he will actually not be there. Cheers to Aiden Morris for also making the U.S. Gold Cup team, but he will not be out because they are still in the, I believe it is the CONCACAF Nations League against Mexico.
Nations League, but he'll be called into the Gold Cup. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like the B minus team. We'll get into that on the
Probably.
Yanks podcast.
Yes.
So let's talk about New York City FC. All right, so they are in a great run of form. So they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 8 games, they have 2 ties and 6 losses.
Does that include the Open Cup?
That does include the Open Cup.
Okay.
And they lost to Cincinnati. They've actually lost to Cincinnati twice. But again, it's at the Yankee Stadium, so it's always like
tiny field,
just an absolute. It's an indoor
micro
field.
machines.
Yeah. What do we think?
We don't play well there. We never.
No,
have.
we don't. We never do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming we're going to roll out the same team. Who do we think is going to play instead of Lucas?
Has to be the small, tiny boy, Alex Matan, right?
It's got to be, right? And I don't hate that. Like he is the closest like for like sub in that front three that we have, because like Jason Russell-Rowe plays completely different.
I believe that his natural position is central attacking mid. Like when he came over,
correct,
from whatever island they make 4 feet man on, like when he came over from that island of small men, that like he was billed as a central attacking mid. So, I mean, that dude balls out whatever position he plays. He's such an enigma to me. Like every time
it's
he
so
plays,
weird.
I feel like he's doing it. Like I watched him play an entire Crew 2 game at the old stadium, and I basically just sat there at midfield and watched him. And he did whatever he wanted to whomever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And he kind of plays like that even on the first team. And I'm just always like, he seems so much better than his playing time suggests.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with, and I talked about this on previous pods, but I don't think he's an out-and-out winger. I don't think he's a striker. And he's definitely not a proper 10 like a Lucas. So I think in this system, he thrives. Like in a top 3 where it's like, hey, man, go up there. Cucho's going to run around. Lucas is going to run around. You're going to run around. All you got to do is create space, and you don't have to play defense. And he's like, tight, got it, sweet. And he's able to absolutely excel at that. Like creating space, finding space.
He's like a street baller.
100%.
Yeah.
He's like an and one mixtape. Like that's
like if you bring that dude on a basketball team with like a schedule, there's gonna be problems.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, hey, this dude's gonna sub in on our team every now and again, like that guy's gonna be the reason like you make the playoffs.
Yeah, he's like the wild card.
Yeah.
Like he can do, and if you give him,
you gotta find space for him. You have to.
Yeah, and like he wasn't a winger, like a proper winger in a 4-2-3-1. Like he's not gonna like get up and get back. He's not a wing back. He's not gonna play defense. But in that creative midfield, he just thrives. So I think
about a future where like somebody has figured him out and he's performing whether it be in Columbus or wherever in Romania or something.
Barcelona.
Like, and we look back and we go, there was a point where we had Lucas, Cucho, and tiny small man Alex Matan all on the same team, all at the same time, and like they didn't light the world on fire. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah.
Andy was disregarded by Caleb.
Correct.
Oh, Caleb. Yeah. He must have had pictures of Caleb's wife. Like he wasn't getting playing time for the Capybaras, man.
So let's just head up predictions. Let's just do it. And luckily, because I'm leading the charge, I don't have to go first. So I'm gonna choose meow 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 meow. Haas.
2-1 Crew.
2-1 Crew. Okay.
I'm scared with Zelarayan out. It worries me. Because he does so much, but I'm sticking with it. With or without him, 2-1 Crew.
Yeah, I mean, in typical tiny fields, there is a lot more scoring than normal. All right, Trey, what do you think?
Ooh, this is going to be a good question. So what I'm trying to find, I know we talked about it recently, is their recent form. I know they've had a bunch of ties.
2 scoreless draws in a row.
Yeah. So
then back-to-back like 3-1 losses.
Dude, if it's 0-0, I'm going to pull the rest of my hair out. which is
I'm gonna
like
go
7 hairs.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Crew.
2-0.
Yeah.
All right, we can do
Mostly
that. All
that's
right.
because I don't want to do 1-0.
Yeah, and for all the listeners, and also it's also nice to reiterate to Morgan, Mars actually said, our host, typically that he would buy an Austin jersey if it was ever a 1-0 Crew victory, because that would never happen. And he said that like 8 months ago when or whenever he was just like, yeah,
Did
if
he
this ever
specify
happened,
which Austin team? Like, could it be Austin Bold?
no, it had to be the new like weird barcode jersey
with
that
pre-court on the back.
The clown.
Yeah,
and pre-court on the back.
Super brutal. I have a whole nother plan. I'm waiting for it to happen. Like
I own an Austin Bold jersey, by the way. So I mean, if he's talking about,
you paid money, American dollars for that?
For the Austin Bold, though, that was like Austin FC's mortal enemy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what Austin Bold is.
It was that USL team that was in Austin before.
Yeah.
Are they still around?
No, I think they went to. I think they went to like somewhere in Alabama. I don't know. They'd know. They were out. They were out at the racetrack in Austin, at the F1 racetrack. I know so much about Austin soccer. I hate it.
I love it, man. I'm all about it. I mean, whatever. We talked for like half an hour off air about our loathing for Austin. Also, I do want to shout out before we get to Morgan's preview that they lost last week, which is wonderful, and they're doing terrible. And I tell you what, every time we win or every time we play, I wake up the next day and I review like, all right, cool. Where's Cincinnati? Where's Nashville? Where's Philly? Those are the teams in the East who were just dominating, and they all did. I think one or two tied and one lost. I think Philly lost. And Austin keeps losing, and I'm just like, oh man,
they were always going to come back to earth, man. And I feel the same way about this year's Cincinnati team as I did about last year's Austin team, in that they are. I think this year's Cincinnati team is bar none the best average team I've ever seen in Major League Soccer.
I'm okay with that.
They're like they have one loss through like how many games?
They're good.
And they have 40
17
points after however many games. And they have like a +7 goal differential. Like they are statistically points wise the best team in MLS history.
Yeah.
But like from goal differential, which is how games end, they are average.
8 points above second place, 40 to 32 at Nashville.
Yeah. Lunacy with like a +7 goal differential.
They are 1 or 2 injuries away from dropping
to being the Crew,
being on a big slide.
Yeah,
their defense. I mean, I think signing Miazga, whether we like it or not, this is a totally different pod, was actually a good call. And I think that's
we don't like him.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I don't like him. Yeah. I enjoy the rivalry aspect of him.
Yes,
it's fine because I love to hate him.
He got called up to the Gold Cup also, but again, that's the Yanks podcast.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. He's playing well.
He's going to be busy. He's on trial for the January 6th insurrection. He won't be able to make it.
Oh, jeez. Well, it's funny because it's true. All right, so Aces Radio also does a score prediction. You guys are only once a month, unfortunately. But you guys also, it feels like you guys suck as much as we do as far as actually predicting correct scores. And I think this last one, you were like, I give up. Like, I don't care.
I have no points this year.
I mean, yeah, but also the scores have been like insane. Like, all right, cool, 4-2, and it's like, what?
We give mercy points for predicting a win or a loss.
Yeah,
nice.
So you get a single point for getting that right.
Oh,
yeah. And the good news is we had spoken earlier, and we're currently giving away a signed Higuain picture with a supporters. I haven't done this yet, but it's a supporter supply scarf as well. But as soon as that is given away, we are giving away a little. I would just say I'm going to tease a supporter supply thing.
There's a thing coming that we've talked about.
Yeah. Yes, that is going to be if you're able to guess the correct score. Honestly, we said the 3 in total, but we're like halfway through the season, and someone's on 2 and everybody else is on 1 because we were all.
Well, whomever wins this mystery thing that we've talked about, you're not going to want it.
Yeah. You may not be able to put it on.
Sorry.
You're going to say,
Yeah.
that's okay, I don't want this.
Extra small.
You're going to go to the doctor and be like, what's wrong
believe
with
me, I have all of the sizes in stock. You just tell me.
Yeah.
It's not the jersey that you're not going to want. It's going to be what's on the jersey that you don't want.
Yeah. It's an Austin jersey. Congratulations. No, yeah. I'll edit that out. All right. So, Morgan, playing Yankee Stadium. What do we think?
Oh, you want me to predict?
Yeah, got to.
2-0 NYCFC.
Boo.
You're
100%.
welcome to change anything you say.
I would never. It's home team FC, man. Playing in that matchbox, never. I don't care how many times that they've lost in the past 2 months. The Columbus Crew will find a way.
Yeah.
Don't we always?
I want to argue so much, but I can't.
All right. So does anybody have what the other Morgan we call Mort has? What is
Yeah. So Morton believes that we're going to win 3-1. That's what we're doing. We're doing 3-1.
If we're going to do it.
He's Canadian now.
Yeah. Hey, top of the hat, top hat.
Hey, how's it
That
going
sounds
there,
so much like him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3-1 for Morton. And then our Chicago friend is going 2-2. So Mars
is going to
2-2.
tie. That's because he's top. He's already like winning. He's okay to do
Yeah, and he added in like a duh crew, which is really weird.
Got it. Okay. So the last one up is me. Man, it's so, and I don't disagree with the loss. I don't disagree with the tie, but they are in such a bad form. Who do they even have? Do we even know who they even have? I mean, Castellanos was the big one.
Yeah, and he is apparently coming back.
Well, he had one good game overseas against whoever he was playing against. So
Real Madrid.
Yes, Real Madrid.
Yes, that was it.
That team.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. We don't have Zelly. Man, it's so hard to think.
So
All right,
they have the other Sands.
they do have the other Sands, who also got called up to the Gold. Man, but he's not playing well either. I'm gonna go 2-0. I think our defense is actually pretty solid.
2-0
for the Crew.
2-0 Crew. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm not a monster. I'm not gonna say the Yankees. Anywho, thank you so much, Morgan, for coming on.
Yes,
what a
thank
treat.
you.
What a treat.
Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah.
Anytime, boys.
Yeah, and actually, if you've survived this long into the pod, this is probably going to be one of our longest pods. But it is
just
actually
happens when I'm around. It just like a crew podcast will just go 3 hours.
I was like, we'll
It
probably
happens
just.
every time on Aces Radio. We show up and all of a sudden it's tomorrow.
But seriously, thank you so much, Morgan, for coming on. Last minute
course.
to fill in and stuff like that. And listen to Aces Radio. We're all family here. We were talking earlier about new to crew. Pete is a wonderful guy. Also, just consume all crew. There's so much time during the week. Aces is on, once a month. We're on once a week. Massive's on once a week. Just consume all everything crew. There's no reason not to. And that being said, also check out, supportersupply.co. They couldn't afford the M on the .com, but
That's right.
That's what they're struggling. So we need to support.
Help us out. We need that
guys.
M.
Yeah. And also check out the basketball jerseys.
Come on.
They're their most comfortable thing. You won't look like Morgan, but they're really comfortable.
Get that free shipping. Upper 90 boys.
That's right.
And we'll probably end up playing
With the Z.
that
the
advertisement through it. So you'll hear Morgan multiple times on this. But
Nice.
that's it. So we normally end the podcast by saying a go crew.
Go crew. All right, just go crew.
Go crew.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go crew!
Okay, Alexa, play Limp Bizkit. Do you have an Alexa behind you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get it to play Limp
But he has
Bizkit.
headphones.
You put your headphones out. I was like, okay, Alexa, play Limp Bizkit.
First of all, I'm a Star Trek fan, so my Alexa does not respond to Alexa. It responds to computer.
I feel like I meet at the middle with Galaxy Quest. I'm just
Hell
like,
yeah.
Galaxy
I
Quest
consider
is
Galaxy
awesome.
Quest a Star Trek movie.
Good.